king, this is what we're waiting for.
Surprise! Միայն Kia-ն է հայտնվում այսպես անակնկալ, բարձր էներգիա, գազի մեծ խնայողություն, հարմարավետ, մատչելի, 10 տարվա եւ 100,000 մայլ գարանտիով։ Եկեք սպասելիքներով վերադարձեք տուն Kia-ով։ Սպասեք անսպասելին Glendale Kia-ում։ 323 222 8000։
Mr. Trutanich, you have numerous accomplishments throughout the years. Could you name a few for us?
Oh God, we have, like I said earlier, that we have been the most successful city attorney's office in, I'd like to say, almost the history of the city in terms of what we've accomplished. Crime is down, you know, and how we can tell you that is that when I started this as the city attorney, we were reviewing about 150,000 police reports across the city, from the CHP, LAPD, school police, all the different policing agencies within the city of Los Angeles. And we were filing about 75,000 to 80,000 cases a year. Today, we're reviewing about 85,000 police reports, and we're filing 55,000 cases a year. Crime is down. I mean, it's just amazing. So my biggest accomplishment is keeping you safe. I work hard at making sure that we are not going to be inundated with gangs, or that the quality of life of the people in the city of Los Angeles is protected, all the way from gang crime to billboard blight. You know, when you saw what we did just a few weeks ago, 108 billboards were turned off in the city of LA because they were illegal. And you know, we've been very successful, very, very successful. On the civil side of this office, which is almost amazing, there are 7,000 lawsuits against the city of LA right now. Can you believe that?
Oh, wow.
7,000 lawsuits against the city of Los Angeles. They represent more than $2 billion in damages. That means if we were to write a check right now to those lawsuits, we'd have to pay $2 billion. And that doesn't include punitive damages, and it doesn't include the cost of injunctive relief, and it doesn't include the cost of paying for the other side's lawyers. So it could truly bankrupt this city. And so that's why it's important to have a guy who's in this office who understands litigation, a lawyer, a real lawyer. You know, the guy who's running against me in this office.
I was just going to mention that. I don't think he's ever even done a case.
He's never been in court. He's never tried a case. I mean, here's a guy that wants to be the #1 lawyer for the city of Los Angeles. And he's never tried a case. Never. Tell me this. If you went to a doctor and the doctor said you needed to get an appendectomy, get your appendix out, okay? And you said, "Are you sure, doc?" He goes, "Yeah, well, that's why you've got a stomach ache, is because your appendix is bad." and you said, "Well, doc, have you ever done one of those before?" No. And he said, "No, but I've seen it on TV." Would you let him cut your stomach open?
No, definitely not.
And that is the rationale. Look, this is a job for a real lawyer. I mean, judges and lawyers alike have given me the highest rating you can get. And then you have a novice, a guy who's never been a lawyer. He wants to protect the Treasury. Since I've been the city attorney of LA, 92% of the time, when I make the call to go to trial on a case, we come out with a favorable verdict. 92% of the time. If 92% of the time Manny Ramirez got a hit when he played for the Dodgers, he'd be in the Hall of Fame right now. I mean, at the end of the day, it is a great percentage. We have saved the city before the last two cases, before the Hernandez case, Contreras, and before the Arian case, right, just happened. We saved the city over $300 million. If you include those two cases, we're probably up around $350 million in savings against the Treasury by winning favorable verdicts in cases where we've tried. We've done so much. And the whole time we've been there, when I took office, my budget was $95 million for my whole entire office. And I had 647 lawyers. My payroll was $99 million. My predecessor's budget was $117 million. My budget's $95, and my payroll is $99. my budget was less than my payroll. If you were in business and your payroll was more than what you made, you'd go broke. But instead, we tightened our belt. We didn't cut anybody's, lay off anybody. We let a natural attrition drop our payroll costs down, and we finished 2009, 2010 budget year with a $500,000 surplus. How were we rewarded for that? The next year, the mayor cut my budget to $84 million against a $95 million payroll. And we balanced again. But this time, we had ERIP, Early Retirement Incentive Program, that took place, and I lost 70 lawyers. Now, how do you lose 70 lawyers and continue to do a good job? You
Yeah,
can't.
but a very strong leader, like your son.
And so what I did is I took 70 lawyers from criminal, and I moved them over to civil, because if you sue the city of LA and I don't answer, you get a default judgment against the city, and I got to write a check. So I couldn't not answer civil cases. I had to answer the civil cases. But that left a big hole in my criminal division. So I came up with an idea, and you're going to laugh. And people were looking at me like I was crazy when I thought of it. But I said, I'll bet you it'll work. I came up with this idea called the Reserve Deputy City Attorney Program. And what it is this. We go to these young kids, and right now the job market for lawyers is not real good. There's more lawyers than there are, Starbucks. Sure.
Very true.
And at the end of the day, I knew that there had to be some young guys out there with law degrees and licenses to practice law that were doing things they didn't like to do. So I put out a call to all the law schools saying, if you have graduates that can't get a job and want to get some experience practicing law, I'll give it to them. They come in and they work for me for 6 months.
It's like an internship program?
But it's better than that, because they're sworn in, they become deputy city attorneys.
Wow.
For 6 months. I give them 30 days of training, so they learn how to be a real lawyer. They learn how to try a case. They learn how to stand in a courtroom. They learn how to have self-confidence and represent the people of the state of California. And after 30 days, we put them into a courtroom in one of the courts around the city. We put them with another lawyer from our office for a week, so they get their sea legs. Then we pull the lawyer. And they spend the next 4.5 months as the city attorney of that courtroom. And they get to try cases, they get to handle court.
That's a wonderful experience.
We've had over 350 kids, lawyers, go through this program. They've tried over 750 cases, 86% conviction rate. And you know what it's cost you?
Nothing.
Nothing. And they filled in the gap, because I couldn't hire anybody. My budget was cut below my payroll. So I couldn't hire anybody. But I had to cover the courts. So I could either make you unsafe or come up with a resource that's going to fill that gap and keep public safety intact. And as a result of that Reserve Deputy City Attorney Program, for the first time in the history of the United States, you're going to love this one, for the first time, a city attorney, the Los Angeles city attorney, was given the American Prosecutors Association, a federally funded association out of Washington, D.C., the most innovative prosecutor in the nation award.
Congratulations.
And as a result of putting that program in place. And that program is in place today, and it was in place last year, and it's been in place ever since 2009 in November it started. A great program, and it's being emulated across the nation. And it's part of the reason why we have an 86% conviction rate at trial. And on the civil side, we're getting 92% of favorable verdicts when we go to trial. This office is humming right now because it's got a real prosecutor, a real lawyer at the helm, and our lawyers know that. They know they can come into my office and talk to me about anything having to do with the law, because I've been there. I've done it. I've chewed the leather. They know it.
Well, your opponent is co-sponsoring something that I was amazed, and I'm sure everybody will be, the AB 109.
Listen.
For all of those that don't know, AB 109 is co-sponsored by
Yes. AB 109 is a realignment of state prisoners.
that are getting released early.
Right, so let me give you the history of AB 109, and we were dealt AB 109. Just like you go to Vegas, you get dealt cards. You don't get to choose the cards you want in Vegas. They deal them to you. Well, Mike Fuhrer, my opponent in this race, sponsored AB 109. He dealt that card to us, all right? Now, look when I got my budget cut, I could either howl at the moon and cry, or I take the lemons that God gave me, cut them in half, and squeeze the hell out of them and make lemonade. And that's what I chose to do. When Mike Fuhrer dealt me AB 109, I tried to make it work.
Which is the early release of inmates that are hardcore criminals. It could be any type of criminals that
AB
basically get
109
released.
it precludes judges. It precludes judges from looking at any rap sheet history and only on the last crime committed from sending, and you can only evaluate somebody on the last crime committed from sending that person to state prison. So you could have a guy with 4 murder convictions, if possible, and get picked up for possession of marijuana for sale. And that guy cannot go back to state prison on a parole violation. He has to go